Hello, this is Higgsy doing another video. Now I'm doing a video but on a different phone. So I've got a work phone as well, and I put a memory card in. And I thought maybe they've got security that's stopping using the memory card, which would be a pain in the arse. But I think when I rebooted it, it basically was alright to do some, but it hasn't got all the features of a normal phone, because I think it's just like a refurbished phone that they're using. What's that? Something's under my foot. That's fine. So anyway, today's video, so I got a motion detecting camera, and it has like a security camera I got cheap off is it off eBay? It's about £20, so you know it's a reasonable price for these sort of cameras, and I can run it for an app in my phone. It's all good. There's probably a way to sort of download the footage or get it off, because it's got a memory card to it, so it's been motion detecting. I had it in my flat and I wasn't there, and it, I think at least it reacted twice. Now once could be where I booted it up or I checked it and then I put it on this sensor mode, I can't remember, but then I had to just check the time to see if it was something I'd done that could have created the first sort of recording. But the second one wasn't related to anything I'd done. And it took a sweep of the room. I got these alerts on my phone where it's quite good. Motion detected or something. And then it was the camera had followed the room across the room to where the kitchen is. So it'd done a sweep, or it followed something. However, it's either it can't be seen with the human eye, but it can be detected in some way. There may be a way to run the footage into different spectrums, because it might be like these subtle shades, like predator eyesight almost. You've got to go into these different modes, maybe more towards the infrared spectrum, possibly. I mean, clouds, maybe something else could have triggered it, so I won't rule that out. There's a tar vehicle in front of me. It's got blooming fire. It's got fire at the back of it. Looks demonic. Like it could shoot out a fireball at the back of it. So I wouldn't rule out what that is, but I do think it's interesting. And I did, when sort of looking at the actual footage, I couldn't see anything that had triggered. It looked like a moth there, or you know, something else. Because it's all possible. I've got it on my window ledge at the moment. I may set it up and do try to record me, but it might keep me awake, because it does emit some sort of infrared, some sort of light. But if it's filmed to the side of me, I better make sure to wear clothes if I decide to do that. I don't want some weird footage of me walking around looking, I think it's bloody Bigfoot, some naked white bloke wandering around. Yeah, just film to see if there's any activity near me at night and early morning. I mean, I definitely think there is things in the block, and I think it's also like it's like a portal, or sort of tethers in some way or connects. I did see something about a person using an app that filters out living things, and it gives them a kind of rainbow haze around them. And he did this thing with this rainbow haze, and he had an old chair. He said he's got it from his mother, and it was a nanny's chair or something, I don't know. But anyway, the chair had a living aura around it when it's an inanimate object, and he was saying that's because it belonged to my nan. And it's like these TikTok things. Anyway, he had it facing against the wall, and people on there said, well, what if it's your nan and sat in the chair, why don't you face her into the room? And then he did a recording the following day, and the filter didn't show any activity in the chair, like the chair was now dead or something. But there was other energy forms that were forming in the room, and he had one sat on the chair by his other sofa, so it's like he invited them in, and he thought it was just a nan. But there seems to be about 2 other beings that were in this, which were sat there. But it could be because he started to engage with them. That might have made them more interested. Like we got a believer, you know, or however it works. I mean, I don't think it really matters. People say, well, if you can talk to someone, you invite them in, you know, sort of. They've probably caught up with sort of old Christianity stuff. You know, it's kind of like two-sided. You can talk to angels if you're a priest or something like that. But if you're anything below that, then you know, that could be magic. It could be you fooling yourself. So there's sort of set boundaries in, because in the older Christianity sort of texts, you know, Solomon, it's suggesting you can talk to these holy beings. And you can summon dominion over of less holy or sort of darklings or something, whatever beings these might be in the other end of the spectrum, created from the void or where they live. They're not necessarily beings of light. You just, I think everything started in the void, though. It's just being a being of light means that you're sort of bound to the energies of light, and better be careful this bit. There's a lorry in the road. Yeah, so you're just bound by certain laws that are different, which, I don't know, there's the association that light is holy, but it might be orderly, and the order demands sacrifice and other things. So there's kind of the 2 ends of the negative and the positive end of that spectrum. You know, like sort of not having deviations from the order and stuff. Why more in the dark, there's also the creative side of chaos, and sometimes chaos is seen as corruption, but sometimes it's the reunification of energies and entities into new forms, basically, and it forms into the sort of within the relationship to light. You've got like nature and things that are being birthed and born that feed off the light and just grow, basically, don't they? But they can be vulnerable to the light as well. So it's kind of a whole spectrum, elemental stuff. I wouldn't want to sort of put it into one basket. This is good, this is bad. That's just a little bit too polarized. It's a bit like entities that might visit. So they're not bound by the same natural order, which is why they might be considered either demonic or unnatural or something. So yeah. So I might lay a trap. I might lay an interdimensional trap of sorts. So sometimes I notice the energy levels pick up when I've made ormus, which involves using salts in water, and then basically the wet method is using sodium hydroxide, which changes the pH and causes the salt to change, dropping out some of these elements that are being trapped in these crystals. And some of them are sort of elements that are actually not really documented well on a periodic table, and they're sort of considered these sort of supercharged elements that don't necessarily, well, they're in an unstable state. Like you know, you supercharge something, it separates, it converts into different elements, and there's a fallout from that, and that's a bit like what happens with an atom splitter, in that you're looking for these new elements that are left behind when you uncombine something or recombine something. There's some sort of loss or energy distortion there, and that can be measured in gravity, you can measure all sorts of things. So they've got these quarks and all these other things, but they're looking for these particles. But beyond that, there's just like waveforms, unless you can register a waveform without having any physical matter, because it's just like energy, and energy may have some tethered tetheredness to physical forms, and like the spirit is to the body in essence, and if you see a dead person you can see that there's no spirit there, and that kind of thing. There's an energy around that, but whether it's defined by the body or whether it's a part of a collective other being, it's a bit like when you wake up, you had no recollection of being alive or dead. It's like, well, this is sad, it's like I died and I've just been reborn again. I wasn't conscious of anything. But maybe it's a more a dormant state. At that point I'm literally at my kind of lowest being, I guess. So yeah, look at technology. I might look at other things as well. Like if there is actually activity, like it brings up something on that app, something weird. You got motion detection that's picking up something in the flat. I might put a spook box and stuff. Who knows? I mean, I don't want to set it up so the cameras, because if I give out the code, people could watch it 24/7, and I'll probably get caught out. Or you know, you'll just see me wander around my flat and other things, messing around. But however, somebody might pick up on something that I won't pick up on. And if the motion detector, say for instance, I set up a sort of spirit box type thing, that's put it on low and it's picking up things being said, but close enough to the cam so it can be picked up by the cam when it talks. If it because when it motion detectors goes off, it will also be listening for sounds, and they'll be recording that as well. So whatever happens with the sounds in relation to the movement may have a correlation. And it'd just be interesting. I mean, it's kind of like just for entertainment, because unless I can foolproof something, what's happening, I can't justify it. But I've definitely got starting to put a bit more resources into some more ghosty stuff. That's really what I look at. And what's the most effective way of recording that and engaging with new technologies and just make an interesting thing. It's a bit like with this phone. I got this phone. My other phone I got repaired because the screen had a big crack in it. The bloke around the corner wasn't too bad. Some phone mender type bloke. And then I was thinking, well, wouldn't it be cool if you just like a live stream in a graveyard with technology and all sorts of things going on, and also being live stream, it would be brilliant. And that's possible. Just got to get the right contract. I don't normally get contract phones. I mean, this one's, let's say this has got a work SIM because it's a work phone. But my other phone was using that SIM, so it was pretty good. Now I'm using my own SIM. I can get into a contract one with, like, I don't know, say it's got 200 gigabytes. That would be of data. That would be fine, I think, for do a live stream. As long as it can connect to the internet, then you can see things, and that'd be pretty damn good. I've got some other weird things from work. I've got this it's a hug torch. It goes around the neck. There we go. And it's got little lights you can click on it, and it's basically for key safes and things in the winter time. Because some people, you go down their paths and they haven't got anything there. So we might get some other torches, maybe one on the ultraviolet spectrum, that standard white one. I've got a red one I can use in different environments. Probably where that church is, I'd be interested to look at that graveyard, because it's not restricted to the back. I'm only going there just for general research. I'm not going to actually do anything dodgy or anything to worry about. And also it's a quiet location. But then again, with spirit box and things, you can do them in the daytime. You just have to do them at night time. It's not like ghosts asleep in the day and they come out at night or something like that. Anyway, this is Peace. I have a great one. I'll speak to you soon. Bye.